Thank you very much, Julie. And on that very happy note, I would like to welcome everybody to the Charter celebration of Toastmasters Without Borders, one of the newest online clubs. It's been a fabulous 10 months as we've progressed through till tonight. And I'm so happy that not only do we have most of our charter members here, but we also have our newest member, Mako, and also Julia and Aminata, who are in the process of joining us. So welcome very much to our Toastmasters Without Borders members and cherished friends from all over the Toastmasters community in District 73 in the US, and of course the visitors from the Firebirds Collective and also the Witty Storytellers. It's great to have so much support from the other online clubs. So tonight is a very special meeting and it's an opportunity to celebrate the charter of our club as well as get to know everyone just a little bit more. So before we start, I would like to ask our grammarian, William Thomas, visiting us from Florida in the United States, to introduce the word of the day. If you would like to come forward, William.
Yes, I will, Madam President. The word of today that I came up with is peaceful. And let me tell you why I came up with that word, actually. Because of some of the things that are going on in the world today. That made me came up with that word, peaceful. Hopefully everything will remain peaceful with other countries and especially our other friends and ones we consider our enemies. Everything will remain peaceful. So if you could use the word of the day, it would be nice. I turn it back over to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, William. One way to create peace in the world is actually having so many friends from all over the world joining together to have a Toastmasters meeting. So it is nice tonight that we have people on the line from Australia, New South Wales, South Australia, Victoria, and the Australian Capital Territory. Moving north, the Philippines, Singapore, China, Japan, South Korea. Moving to my east, New Zealand, further east than that, Florida, and then further east than that, UK, followed by Austria. So it's fabulous to have such a wide range of people here tonight and numerous other nationalities represented. Our next person that I would like to show her stuff for this evening is Cherie, who's on the screen with us. Would you be able to demonstrate your timing devices for this evening, please? Oh, and she's disappeared. Oh, there she is.
There. Okay. Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm the timer tonight, and so basically what I have here is 3 things for timing. So, for example, if you had a speech that went for 7 minutes, at the 5-minute mark you would get the green. And I've designed these for, in case somebody's colourblind as well, you can look at where the dots are. So you've still got a little way to go. At the 6-minute mark on your speech, you'll get the yellow, and on the 7-minute mark, you'll get the red. If you go further than that, something very peaceful, but to let you know, you'll get that at 7 minutes and 30 if you've spoken too long. Thank you very much.
Very nice, Cherie. We look forward to seeing those timing devices tonight, but maybe not so much the peaceful gong of your bowl. So in order to warm us all up this evening, I thought it was a good opportunity to start with some toasts. Now, there are 25 people on the line, so we do want people to be efficient as we move through. I'm going to do a round robin in the order of the attendee list that is on your screen. If you would like to come forward to be ready and then disappear as you've given your toast. Like everybody to give a 20-second toast to Toastmasters Without Borders or online Toastmasters or your new friends or whatever you would like to do this tonight. So Julie, Agnes and Amber, get ready. and Adrian, because you'll be up next. I'll go first, followed by Julie, and then we'll follow Adrian down. So I'd like to start by toasting all of my wonderful friends who have made Toastmasters Without Borders become a reality, and all of those people and those friends that I am yet to meet through Toastmasters Without Borders. So cheers. You want to go next, Sheree, given you're on the screen?
Oh, sorry. It's okay. Yeah. Okay. I'd like to toast to everyone that's joined Toastmasters Without Borders for a long and successful journey together. Cheers.
Yes. Adrian?
Hi, our friends who invited us, and for friendship between all the online clubs.
Yes, thank you, Julie. Adrian?
Since he's offline.
Okay, Agnes? Amber? Is she there coming?
I'm like,
Thank you, Amber. Agnes?
To a long and peaceful, successful club of witty stories. Not what's the name of your club? Sorry. Toastmasters Without Borders. All the best to you.
Thank you, Agnes. Debbie?
cheers to Toastmasters Without Borders, all of my new friends, and a special thank you to Kim for chartering us and getting us going. And I hope we have a peaceful evening.
Thank you, Debbie. Sally?
Charlie, I'd like to propose a toast to the humble cork, or without which all wine would be but vinegar. Cheers.
Thank you, Charlie. Carol? We can't hear you.
Huge cheers to Toastmasters Without Borders, which began as an over-lunch discussion with a glass in our hand and an inspiration from Kim. I know that it's going to go a long, long way. It's already a success, and good on you, Kim. This will make you able to get your DTM.
Thank you. Who would like to come up next? Elise, Fabiola, Henry, Julia? There she is.
I would like to propose a toast with my invisible glass to Toastmasters Without Borders, and especially Kim, and congratulate her on achieving her high performance HPL, because I'm led to believe that it's part of what this club is all about as well. It's not just to provide another forum for us to have Toastmasters, but for Kim to do her HPL. And I believe you've done that admirably. So well done, congratulations. And here's to not just you, Kim, but to friends distant and close, some of whom I've actually had the privilege of meeting in my visits to Melbourne for many years to come. Cheers.
Thank you, Elise. Henry.
Toastmaster Without Borders, here is to you. May your shadow never grow shorter, and may you have a large collection of members coming your way to foster the great stuff that Toastmaster does.
Thank you very much from our illustrious VPE, Fabiola.
Cheers to Toastmasters Without Borders for reaching all the corners of the globe, and many great meetings and learning opportunity for all the members. Yes.
Thank you. We're up to the J's and K's. Julia or Kevin? Magda? Mako? There's Kevin.
This is a celebrity I chose to bring along with me, by the way. This is a 27-year-old Paul Ale whiskey. You're not going to find these anywhere. To absent friends, to those we have met, to those we have yet to meet, to those who have left us for a while, and to those who have left us forever, let us lift our glasses and drink a toast that they may abide in our hearts forever. To all Toastmasters.
Here, here. Very nice.
Thank you, Kevin. Julia.
I want to thank you and congratulate you for chartering Toastmaster without borders, and I hope this club is going to be successful and go a long way.
Thank you, Julia. Meiko from China. We can hear you.
Nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you too. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Doctor.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, we can, Magda.
Okay, good. My toast is to every club member. My message is seize the day, every moment. What can I say? Every event, every meeting, every speech, every evaluation, it's all special. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, all the other people in the background. It's nice to be a member of this club. I don't have a drink in my hand, but I'm stuffed full of medications, so I'm high, okay?
Thank you, Magda, and we hope you feel better soon. Marina.
Here's my glass. Here's fellow Toastmasters and President Kim. Thank you very much for having the impetus to put this club together along with your fellow Toastmasters here in Australia. I hope Toastmasters Without Borders reaches the far corners of the world and to bring us together at sustainable and long-term meetings. And I really look forward to listening to hundreds of speeches, hundreds of evaluations, so that this club trains me and has me achieve a distinguished Toastmaster, just like yourself, Kim. Thank you very much for your outstanding leadership skills. Cheers.
Thank you, Marina. Nicole.
Mr. Toastmasters Without Borders. I'd just like to thank Kim, Carol, everyone else who's contributed in so many ways to the club to date. And I just want to welcome all my friends, those that I've met and those that I haven't. I'm sure there's many more friendships to be formed in Toastmasters Without Borders.
Oh, there is. Natasha.
Hi. All right. Heineken. Here's the Toastmasters Without Borders. So excited, looking forward to the next year or two. Congratulations and to many more meetings. Cheers.
Thank you. It's great to have you. Texted via South Korea. Yes. Heading north of me to Melbourne, Tracy.
Cheers to Toastmasters Without Borders. Let me show you my collection of mugs from around the world. I just want to thank Kim and Carol, because it was this conversation with those two wonderful ladies that led me to joining this club. But what it shows is what is possible. If I think about how this started, Kim's conversation over coffee at a convention, and here we are today. It shows if you have the determination, you have the support, what is possible. A toast to our continued journey. Thank you, Kim.
Tracy. Sidita, welcome. We're giving toast tonight to Toastmasters Without Borders or online Toastmasters. Would you like to join us? It's okay. Wendy? Oh.
You're on mute, Sidita. Wendy as well.
Sudipta, can you hear us? Okay, let me go first there. Internet has become an essential part of everyday life, and it has come a long way. Now it's time to make friends through internet and via virtual teams. So let me wish the president and her wonderful team and all the fellow Toastmasters without borders to achieve great heights and shrink the world to make connections more cheerful and communications more efficient. To Toastmasters without borders and to all the dedicated Toastmasters around the world.
Thank you, Wendy. William, would you like to give a toast? Or Zelby?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will, Madam President. I lift my cup up to Madam President, my fellow Toastmasters, and Toast Without Borders. May you guys continue to succeed, and may success follow you wherever you may go.
Thank you very much, William. Sudipta, can you hear us yet? Maybe not. Zelby, you've disappeared. There he is.
Okay, just turned on the lights. Okay. From the Philippines, we're a country without borders. And congratulations to the club Toastmasters Without Borders. May the club live its life without borders, and may all the members live their lives also without borders. Cheers. Okay, I'll take my picture first before I
Well, thank you very much, Zelby, and to everyone for your good wishes and good cheers tonight. I do hope that everything we have wished for Toastmasters Without Borders becomes true. So we'll now move into the formal presentation portion of our meeting tonight. We have two speakers. It is my privilege, first of all, to invite Magda Van Ruin to come to the screen, as well as her evaluator, Wendy. And Sheree, if you could come back on the screen as well, as we need to see those lovely timing devices. But of course, you'll need to use the red one for Magda. Wendy, while we're waiting for Magda to come onto the screen, would you like to give the objectives of Magda's speech?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Magda is doing her fifth project or last project on her storytelling manual. Well done, Magda. Good on you, and looking forward for your speech. Her speech title is, or rather, project title is Bringing History to Life. The executive summary goes as: storytellers can be historians, using their talents to tell the world about the event that shaped it. Stories about the knights of the Round Table, battles, explorers, and leaders are as interesting today as they were many years ago. When telling an historical story, narrow it to one event. Make sure it has a plot, conflict, characters, and a setting and action. Carefully develop the characters. You may have to cut the story to fit your time limit. I'm pretty sure Magda has already followed everything. The objectives: to understand the purpose of stories about historical events or people, to use the storytelling skills developed in the preceding projects to tell a story about a historical event or a person. Madam Timer, the timing is 7 to 9 minutes. 7 to 9 minutes. Never-ending story, Magda, never-ending story.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, In a land far, far away, there lives a dragon and a dragon slayer. When I lived in that land, I was sort of an active observer. It was not a happy place. It was not a peaceful place. I saw many battles, and the big one affected me in many, many ways. The battle is the climax in my story, and then comes the aftermath. This is followed by contemplation, or the summary. To help you to understand this battle, I need to tell you something about the lay of the land. South Africa is the land where this combat took place. The political landscape had unscalable mountains and deep, dark valleys, treacherous valleys. Two foreign ideologies loomed large. Red-hot communism a la Russia and anti-white rule as per the Mau Mau killings in Kenya. You will find me in those deep, treacherous valleys. From the age of 10 onwards, I was reading books about the Mau Maus and the murders and everything that was going on in Kenya. And a little bit later on, I was reading books of Heinz Gonzalez. He was a German war correspondent, and he was reporting or writing novels about botched up human experimentation. Sort of people who got their heads one operated on and put on the other one. Gory stuff. And all this was available in libraries. I had access to it all. The result of that is that a couple of generations of kids grew up with the ultimate fear of black people and communism, and they were forever scanning, looking over their shoulders. Can you even begin to imagine how easy it is to create a climate of fear? The general public was kept in the dark. They were also in those deep valleys. Strict censorship was in place and there was no freedom of speech. Newspapers were gagged. TV was prohibited until 1976. The government had a very interesting story about this. They said they've got to protect the citizens because this TV, this is a box from the devil and it's going to spread communism and immorality. The immorality referred to was, of course, mixed-race marriages. Looking back now, it's all looking so silly, but in any case. Looking back, I realized how difficult and how unscalable those mountains of ignorance really were at that time for ordinary men and women. The outside world knew what was going on in South Africa, but its own citizens did not. He did not understand the beast, the dragon of evil, a government that perpetrates violence against its own people. I want to introduce the dragon in its 3 stages of development. In South Africa, the egg stage started 362 years ago when Jan van Riebeeck, the founder of the Cape of Good Hope, hatched that dragon egg. He planted a row of almonds all around the Dutch settlement. That is to keep the Bushmen out. The right of conquest was not applicable. The Dutch just took the land. 55 years before the National Party took over, this teenage dragon, now with the whole help of the British Empire, passed the Glen Grey Act. This act took away the land rights of Africans, thereby locking out a huge portion of the population from economic growth and prosperity. When the dragon reached maturity in the 1950s, it was in cahoots with the National Party. The National Party said its drive and motto was to protect God's own, meaning the white people. Remember, this was just after the British brutally killed 25,000 white women and children in the Boer War. Raw fear for this little minority group of white people were at play. This right of white people were even promoted from the pulpits in the different churches. They would quote Bible verses in support of segregation. With the God's own mentality came entitlement. Why not? All was okay because the church said so. We learned that our leaders were ordained from God himself. You might ask, but why did people not speak up? Of course they did. Some were jailed, some disappeared, and some were killed. But the wheel of time was turning. One person got my full attention. He used hard facts, and he was speaking the language of my heart, and I felt that the scales fell from my eyes. It is now time to introduce the dragon slayer Max to prayer. He, like all dragon slayers, was a handsome guy. As a student, he had wild, over the South African colour line friendships. The kernel of his being is justice. He's a South African journalist and the founder of the Vrye Weekblad, the first Afrikaans anti-apartheid newspaper. He started this newspaper, and I want to quote him. Because I saw the decadence and the amoral conduct and the lies from the inside, meaning Parliament. Max's weaponry was his pen and later his keyboard. And something that helped immensely was the changing attitudes. You might ask, why the changing attitudes? Because of TV. The white people got an exposure now to see how people in other countries were living. Slowly attitudes changed. This created the right growth medium for Max's message, and like dandelion seeds, it floated out and his words took on wings, setting the scene for the big battle that followed. At first, there were many small battles between Max and the dragon, but it escalated. Max was imprisoned many times, but he kept on publishing. For me, everything changed in May 1989. By now, a full battle raged. I was just in time to buy an issue of his newspaper before the government confiscated. In the main article, a member of the secret unit of the police, a certain Captain Kutsia, told how they were to disable opponents of the apartheid regime. Listen very carefully to the next statement. They were to dispose people whenever the country's courts were unable to do so. It is no surprise that this unit, their methods included assassination, kidnapping, poisoning and execution to disable people. At that moment, this truth seed of Max found and exploded in my fertile brain. I knew instantly it was true. I saw the dragon for what it really is. It is evil in the form of a morally corrupt, money-grabbing, elitist group who use fear and intimidation to get their way. I was broken-hearted, very angry, and deeply ashamed of our government and the so-called God-ordained ministers. Most of my friends were in the same boat, and we were just floating without any horizon in sight. I wish I could say that the horizon after the battle was everlasting peace, but life is not like fairy tales. The severely wounded dragon recuperated and is now in cahoots with the ANC. True to his nature and character, Max is currently actively exposing the corruption and the lack of morals of the ANC government. my horizons broadened and I moved to New Zealand. For the first time, I felt free of the color dogma, and I hope I never have to refer to white, pink, black, orange, whatever color people based on their skin. It is time for contemplation. My red light is on. Evil is everywhere. They say dragons are immortal, but we have the power to wear it down. We're all in this battle together. We have voices. We can stand up to evil. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
We can't hear you, Kim.
Thank you very much, Magda, for that wonderful choice of speech for our charter party tonight, expressing those sentiments that we hope that we too can do as we charter a Toastmasters Club without borders. And as someone said most eloquently before, where both the club and the members do not have borders. I would like to welcome our second speaker, Tracy Green, and her evaluator, Carol McCulloch, to the screen. Here we have the evaluator. We have the speaker. Is there anyone who'd like to come on the screen to be the listener for Tracy?
That's good. We have Sudipta. Can have two more.
Lovely. I'm going to hand it over to you, Carol, to introduce Tracy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kim, and welcome, Toastmaster Tracy. It's wonderful to have you here with us tonight to talk about part of your journey. This is a Project 4 from Competent Communication Manual. This is probably the 500th time that Tracy has been through this manual, but she will definitely know how to say it. The words that she will choose will be powerful, I can assure you, and they will convey a message and influence you, the audience, and its perception of Tracy. The word choice and arrangement needs just as much attention as does the speech organisation and the purpose. I know that Tracy has a wealth of experience behind her and that she will be able to talk about her Oxfam dream. So let's make welcome to the screen for her 5 to 7 minute speech, Oxfam Journey, Tracy Green.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol. Who has set a goal? We know with the chartering of Toastmasters Without Borders that Kim set herself a goal. And I said originally in my toast that goals come to fruition with determination. You have a line of sight to your vision somewhere in the distance. But you need determination and resources to make that happen. I want to share 3 aspects of my Oxfam dream. Number 1, my original journey. Number 2, my recent experience. And number 3, my future endeavour. So let's start with my original journey. It'll probably surprise you that I tend to set myself very high and lofty goals. And most of those, with sheer determination, I have achieved. They could be within my Toastmasters journey, my work, my travels, and also in the realm of exercise. I saw myself completing the Oxfam 100-kilometre walk, crossing that finish line, even though I know that I have been suffering for 4 years with bursitis, tendinitis, and a hamstring tear, all developing from having a coccyx removed 20 years ago and not recognising that back then, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but back then I did not undertake rehabilitation. Not that I knew that that was necessary. I trusted my doctor, my surgeon, and after the 9-month procedure of removing my coccyx, I learned to walk again, and so my journey began. When I started running half marathons, the problem began. I developed bursitis. And because I was determined to complete my half marathon for the second time, against doctor's advice, I did the 22.5 kilometres by walking 1 kilometre, running 1 kilometre, walking 1 kilometre, running 1 kilometre, even whilst I had bursitis, tendinitis and a hamstring tear. So when it came to setting a lofty goal of completing the 2016 Oxfam's 100-kilometre walk, I thought, if I can do 22.5 kilometres running and walking, I can walk 100 kilometres. So off I set with my team. Oxfam is a voluntary group. You only have a small number who are paid to generate the income that goes to support Oxfam. The majority for the event are all volunteers. The first thing you have to do is raise $1,400. Plus each individual pays $150 to attend the event. Once you've done that, then you're able to walk the event. And during the course, you're very well supported. All along the paths, there are wonderful volunteers supporting, praising, and helping motivate you to continue to see the goal. What was interesting is the group that I had chosen to walk with, I hadn't prepared with, and I had no idea what their pace was. And whilst I'm no athlete, it turned out that my pace was a lot faster than theirs. In the Oxfam structure, they have 7 checkpoints. So you'll walk 12 to 15 kilometres, have a checkpoint. Everyone in the team checks in and everyone in the team checks out. You then walk to the next checkpoint. In my lack of preparedness, I didn't realise the impact of this. And when it got to the 72-kilometre mark and I was waiting another 2 hours for my team to catch up, the reality of my injuries became so aware that I had no choice but to withdraw at the 72-kilometre mark. Now that was a very hard decision. And when you're someone like me who is very determined and attempts to put their heart, their soul, their energy into everything they undertake, to have to make that decision was very confronting. But I thought, I'll be crawling for the next 20 kilometres to achieve that goal, and it will be during the night, which means the pace will be even slower, and I will have to walk with the group. For my own well-being, I decided to withdraw. Now that took a lot to digest, but an opportunity came along to try again, which became the 2017 Oxfam event, which is my recent experience, point 2. I still have the same injuries, but this time I took some of the lessons learned. I used hindsight and thought, what would I do differently? I worked very closely with my team. We did many walks together. The day arrived, I was excited. I'm going to do it this time. 2017, my year, the Oxfam 100-kilometre walk. I have everything. I've practiced. I know my team. I have the determination. I have the energy. I can do it, even though I have these injuries. At 42 kilometres, I had the worst blisters on my feet that I've ever experienced in my life. And in none of my past walking have I ever had the blisters. I thought, if you believe in the gods, they're there to tell me to take seriously my injuries. At the 42-kilometre mark, my decision was not made because I physically couldn't carry on. My decision to withdraw was, sometimes you have to make a decision that's best for the whole rather than for you as an individual. I had to look beyond my own steely determination to achieve the 100-kilometre walk and realise that if I continued walking, I'm holding the team back. So I had to do the right thing for everyone rather than just focusing on my needs, and I withdrew. And my withdrawal allowed the other 6 to finish the walk in 37 hours. They wouldn't have done that if I had stayed walking with them. That was a very hard pill to swallow in making that decision, because I'm confronted with, again, really wanting to achieve my goal, but recognising that in achieving that could be the detriment of others. So now comes to me my third journey, which is the focus of the Oxfam 2018. I took the lessons learned from my second attempt at Oxfam. I've had the surgery. I now have no bursa. They have lengthened my ITB band, and they have repaired the damaged tendon. So if I adhere to my 12-week recovery program and I do all of my rehab exercises, I will still have my energy and my determination, but I'll have the physical capability of achieving Oxfam 2018. So like a conversation that took place at a convention about starting an online club, today I put out that I will do everything in my power to put myself in the best position to achieve my goal. If you're setting a goal for yourself, what is going to hold you back, and what can you change to ensure that you can achieve your goal? Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Tracy. A great story drawing on your personal experience, very appropriate for our charter tonight as we set goals of what we can be into the future, and with the knowledge that sometimes in Toastmasters you do what's good for everyone and not just yourself, and that makes the power of the Toastmasters organisation. That brings us to the end of the formal speeches for this evening. So I'd like to welcome our fabulous Table Topics